We were simply saying, despite the contributions for years and years and years, a lot of people didn't care. Fair or not?
I would like to see the WNBA for at least one season without her. Because you keep saying it's about the league. You keep saying it's about other people too. It's not just about one person. I'd actually like to see this.
The WNBA players are facing a critical juncture as they opt out of their current collective bargaining agreement, putting the league at risk of a work stoppage if a new deal isn't reached soon.
The WNBA players have opted out of their current collective bargaining agreement and face the prospect of a work stoppage if they don't reach a new deal before the end of the season. The move comes as the league recently entered into an historic 11-year media rights deal with Disney, Amazon Prime, and NBC for $200 million a year. The players also cited higher television ratings, attendance figures, and franchise values for opting out.
Many argue that the WNBA often prioritizes political agendas over traditional sports values, alienating a portion of its fan base.
This, to me, is another reason why Caitlin Clark needs to flee the WNBA. It's a political organization. They're not serious about business. They don't care about traditional sports fans. It's a little cult that puts out little political statements and everybody wears vote t-shirts. They don't care about making money. They don't care really about building up this league and making it profitable. They're a charity. She needs to flee the WNBA.
Recently, the intensity of the WNBA finals gave players a glimpse into the immense pressure that Caitlin Clark has faced throughout her remarkable season.
This fold job that just went on in the WNBA finals in Game 5, really in Game 4 and 5, but particularly in Game 5. Sabrina Ionescu, Breanna Stewart, all the rest of them that played in that game, even on the Minnesota Lynx, all of them. They got a taste, a tiny, tiny taste of the kind of pressure that Caitlin Clark has been under all season. The kind of pressure and spotlight that Caitlin Clark has been under all season. And what happened? They folded.
Caitlin Clark's influence has the potential to elevate the entire league, and players could have leveraged their platforms more effectively to support her rise.
Stop right there. Stop right there. The players are absolutely right. They only get 10% of basketball-related income compared to the 50% that the NBA players get. Players citing higher television ratings, attendance figures, franchise values as the reason for opting out. Now, wait a damn minute. Wait a damn minute. What have I been saying? I said Caitlin Clark, rising tide lifts all boats. As much as her presence was maximized by the WNBA, you players could have done more to assist it. I just spoke about Sue Bird over a week ago, and everybody talking about other WNBA players not being appreciated. Nobody insulted them. Nobody dismissed their contribution. We were simply saying, despite the contributions for years and years and years, a lot of people didn't care. Fair or not? Until Caitlin Clark came along. Not only her, Angel Reese to some degree as well, but Caitlin Clark more so, and her and the combination of Angel Reese and it elevated television ratings, it elevated attendance, and it damn sure elevated franchise value. But now, something that y'all resisted talking about, opining about, acknowledging, now you want to come and say, let's opt out of the CBA because of those very, very things. You know what I would say to y'all?
It's worth asking. Was it a missed opportunity for players not to fully rally behind Caitlin Clark and amplify her voice in the spotlight?
Then are you willing to admit how stupid it was for y'all not to go all in speaking your piece to elevate Caitlin Clark? So therefore even more attention could have come and y'all could have reaped the benefits? Now you're gonna do it anyway, and I get that, but you see my point? Higher television ratings, higher attendance figures. Ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't come courtesy of a league. It comes courtesy of the players that play in the league. And in her case, she was the most popular, which means she could have helped your bottom line, which means you should have seen that from day one and maximized it. But you didn't do it. You didn't want to, rather. You were a bit hesitant and reluctant and resistant to it. So much so you didn't push for her to be on Team USA. So much so, you had people like Cheryl Swoops who didn't even want to mention her name. Now, it didn't hurt that much. But if you went the opposite direction, it could have helped that much. And facilitated you being in an even stronger position to get yours. But you didn't do it. You didn't do it.
Now, understand, that's a stretch. Don't think she is. From all I have heard from everybody inside the joint, she ain't. But something happened somewhere, somehow. And the coach be gone. Here's the statement. We are incredibly thank you to Coach Sides for embracing the challenge of leading us through an integral transition period over the last 2 seasons, while also positioning us well for future growth. Yeah, really? All right, then. While decisions like this are never easy, it's also imperative that we remain bold and assertive in our pursuit of our goals, which includes maximizing our talent and bringing another WNBA championship back to the great state. I'm putting that in because it is a great state of Indiana. Coach Sides was an incredible representative of the Fever in our community, and we wish her nothing but success in the future.
Critics often label the WNBA as one of the least appealing leagues in sports, pointing to a disconnect between its players, ownership, and the media.
Here's the issue with the WNBA, and I'm going to repeat a mantra. It is the most unlikable league and culture in all of sports, by far. And I'm talking from the players to some of the ownership, to all the media members, to the podcasters, to those who defend it. It's the most unlikable league in the whole wide world. And this is just another piece of evidence to support that statement.
It's going to be a disaster. It's going to be a bad look for women's basketball. It's going to hurt their momentum. It's not even a real thing. It's something to pacify them, to make the women think, hey, you know what? I need to keep going along with this crap WNBA league that has poor leadership and doesn't know how to become profitable so we can get paid. They want to get paid for just whining and complaining and saying we deserve it rather than earning it. They could earn it if they started a rival league that was run properly and removed this type of politics that the Seattle Storm are promoting and this entire league is promoting. They could produce something great. They're going to do something stupid. And I just don't want Caitlin Clark involved.
You know, if Caitlin Clark was your daughter, you would tell her, turn down $100 million. If it was all guaranteed, call child services. Yeah. Really, that is abuse. That is terrible advice. No. That is terrible. You don't care. Because here's the thing. Not only would she be financially secure if that deal is legitimate, I would like to see the WNBA for at least one season without her. Because you keep saying it's about the league. You keep saying it's about other people too. It's not just about one person. I'd actually like to see this.
Caitlin Clark possesses a rare star power, capable of drawing millions of viewers when showcased in the right environment.
Caitlin Clark, in a properly run league, she'll draw 3-4 million people to watch her game.
More than has been watching now in a whole new league.
Yeah, I think in a whole new league, it'll take some time. I would say 3 years. But in a whole new league, yes. I think she has that kind of star appeal. The game is still in its infancy. And these narratives, they'll still somewhat apply to this new league. Because, again, a bunch of these women will follow her. You offer Angel Reese, and they'll jump in that league, and they'll still hate Caitlin Clark. It's just the leagues and the teams won't be putting out statements on politics. They won't be wearing T-shirts, BLM and vote and all this other crap. They'll just be playing the game, the hatred, the jealousy, the envy, and all that will still be there. They'll still say all the same things. But the league will actually market Caitlin Clark, which they were reluctant to do in the WNBA because they don't want to offend Asia Wilson and these other woke idiots.
The activism of the WNBA is something that if I'm Caitlin Clark, I want no part of, because it may not even be in her belief system. But this is literally a league who about 4 years ago made up shirts with bullet holes in them. And I'm thinking, well, okay, what are you saying? Are you coming out against the NRA or the Second Amendment? And they stood up in mass and then tried to deify Jacob Blake. If that's your type of activism, you do have a point, though, Jason. I'll give you credit. If you're Caitlin Clark, you want to gently step away from all that mess.
Most important thing in every state is Caitlin Clark, at least in Midwest states, at least in the great state of Indiana. And this hit me yesterday. Wow. It hit a lot of people yesterday. The head coach of the Indiana Fever, Christine Sides, gone. She gone. Fired.
The question remains, could Caitlin Clark have made a significant impact in the coaching realm of the WNBA? And should we expect nothing less from such a standout athlete?
A lot of people were complaining about Christine Sides. I thought, what the hell, man? You know, they went from a horrible team to a playoff team. They were an exciting team, a fun team. Caitlin Clark acted petulant. Sides wasn't afraid to step up and coach her a little bit, but I'm not there every day. But I was surprised. A lot of interest in this job, as you can well imagine. If I'm the Indiana Fever, I got to think about two people. Stephanie White is somebody that played and is a legend in the great state of Indiana. And then the great Kurt Miller, who has coached teams left and right, part of the Olympic team. A great coach, just let go in Los Angeles. He's been in Indiana, was a head coach of the Hoosiers for a little bit. But this was surprising to me. Now, I wonder this. I'm going to the chin on this one. If, in fact, we do the same with the WNBA that we do with the NBA, must we discuss Caitlin Clark's influence on this? Must we? See, LeBron James gets a coach fired, and you know what happens. Everybody blames LeBron James, whether or not it was LeBron James. I don't know. But we all immediately go there. Everybody will tell you Michael Jordan got Doug Collins fired. Magic Johnson got Paul Westhead fired. You know, it goes on and on and on and on and on. Yeah, I don't know how many different coaches have been in how many different places. But the truth of the matter is, we must ask the same question. So did the little gal from Iowa get the coach fired? A lot of people, if you're going to do it the right way, you're going to have to say yes, aren't you? So do we also do the same thing, and this is really unfair, but wait for it. Caitlin Clark, do we now do the same thing and say, hang on here, caller. Caitlin Clark, 1 year, one coach fired. Or let me ask you this question. You know, her coach in college retired after Caitlin Clark got the hell out of there. She retired. She said, adios, amigos, and she's available, and Caitlin Clark likes her. Wouldn't that be interesting? If there is one thing that could turn the general public off on Caitlin Clark, I would argue it would be if she becomes a coach.